So the end of last stream on Monday, we had our goals here of refactoring the weighted monster and adding a battle manager to a level, adding spawn points, spawning adventurers, and then creating a basic battle system. That's the high level kind of goals. And I just want to work out how I want this weighted monster system to work. Now, one thing we know for sure is that we don't want it to be a T subclass of, as far as I'm aware. We're just going to use one. For a battle, we will use like a battle pawn, for example, and that battle pawn will just be set up to look like whatever monster it's meant to look like. That's the idea. Hello there, Natalie. See you. So yeah, we're going to try and work with that. So first off, this doesn't need to be a monster class. I think we will probably rename this to monster type. That, and this becomes an E monster type instead. So by default, it's not valid. Set to it. Okay, minimum amount is actually going to be 0. So I guess the idea is that if there's a chance of something spawning, like 10% chance of something spawning, if min amount is 1, then it would always try and spawn 1 regardless. So this is for a situation where sometimes there would be a enemy type C, but it doesn't have to be. Whereas you can guarantee at least 1 of each monster type by using that. The idea I'm thinking. Hello there, Bizarrio. Nice to see you. So hang on, is it the mic gain thing you on about? Is it like cutting out? People said last stream. Thank you for letting me know. Sometimes on a Windows update they change the volume, so let's check that. I think that's okay. I don't think it's particularly less than normal. I think what I did change recently was to try and help with the fan. Yeah, so let's go out and have a look at my filters for that. So yeah, I changed the open threshold much lower. It used to be around here, I think. So we'll just do that, and hopefully that'll help with it. Hey, Haiku Shane, I've not seen you for bloody ages. How you doing? Lovely to catch you. How have things been? Okay, so where this weighted monster chance comes in is in the quest theme then. So we can set up a series of quests. We give them a title, a description. A boss quest is something for future. We don't need to worry about it for now, right? But we then do have this monster selection. It's an array of weighted monsters, which is that struct I was just looking at then. Right, where you can say, okay, this quest can have any of these monsters, and you can list as many of these as you want, and you give them a chance of how likely it will be. The chances, we're probably going to follow the same structure as the chests that we did, and I need to decide what they had. Is they basically had a fallback. This is loot, like a loot item, right, which can have a loot table, and it basically has a fallback item of like, it will always spawn this as a bare minimum, but it'll try and roll for different types of loot. And if none of those rolls pass, it'll fall back and just use the basic type. I'm trying to work out whether I want to do the same thing for monsters. Should there be a base monster that's the default? Because if not, then we need to, if you fail all the rolls, what's it going to spawn? And you might need to have some hard kind of tribal knowledge way of setting up these assets. So I think for that reason, I'm probably going to go for the fallback method. What I mean by that is, say you had 3 monsters listed, like a 10% chance, and then you had one which is 40% chance. You would have to make that last one 50% chance. Otherwise, if you happen to roll like 99 and you only gave it a 40% chance, that wouldn't actually spawn anything. Nothing would pass. Or the last item in the list, it would just do by default. And then you're no longer respecting that chance member, and I think that isn't intuitive either. So I think I'm going to go the same way. Amiga Leo as well. Hello, a long time no see as well. Everything is good. You're doing game dev for the first time in months. Ah, lovely. Yes, good to have your company. Let's do a bit of game dev together, hey? I don't typically stream on a Sunday. I had a day of doing dev with Alicia yesterday. She's working on a bot. She did loads of work. She did really good. And cooked and just hung out and watched a film and stuff. And today, we didn't have anything we needed to do together. Excuse me. So I was just like, you know what, let's just try and get some more dev done. So we can get ready for tomorrow's AHA dev stream, which is at 7 PM UK time on Mondays. So yeah, let's go ahead and carry on then. Bizarro says, but they weighted selection algorithms that doesn't depend on adding to... Was that... It feels like I was missing a start of a sentence, but it might have been related to what I said. Yeah, oh, maybe weighted is... Yeah, relation to one another. So is what you're saying here, if we jump into this, we could do it this way as well. Thank you for reminding me. Maybe that's what I was thinking initially, is that it's a weighted chance between one another. So let's say that we had like a value of, like, monster A has a value of 1, monster B has a value of 1, monster C has a value of 0.1, and let's just say monster D has a value of 0.5. So what we end up having then, having these, having the dots in there just made it confusing to read. So okay, so we had 3 different monster types like that. That would mean that we have a total of like 2.6, but it's like a ratio between another. So like monster C is like, these are equally likely. This is 10% as likely as this. This is 5 times as likely as this. Is that kind of what you meant by it doesn't have to add to 100, Bizarro? Because that could be what I was thinking about when I originally made this class ages ago. So that's one way you could do it. So you'd end up having a total and you'd roll a random number between 0 and 2.6. Check, is it less than or equal to A? If so, spawn it. If not, check if it's less than or equal to A plus B. If so, spawn B. If not, etc. There's a thing where your list is sorted from most likely to least likely, and you pick a random number. If the first chance is greater than the rolled number you picked, hang on. If the first chance is greater than the number you rolled, you picked it. If not, you roll again and add the previous. Yeah, no, that sounds something similar to this. Like you add. Hello, Spacey. Welcome. There was no VIP today because it's a non-scheduled stream anyway. So don't you worry. You're still important to us. Thank goodness. Thank the heavens. Okay. So the alternative way of doing it is what I was mentioning earlier, is just where you have, it's basically the same system, but we don't have a total like that. Instead, you just give it a 10% chance. So you'd say monster A would have like a 5% chance, Monster B would have a 10% chance, or it could be 20, it doesn't have to be in order actually, 20%. C could be a 10% chance. Like that, right? And then you know your percentage of that coming in. You don't have to work out, if you add another, you don't have to, it doesn't change the percentage. So then what you do is you do a roll between 0 and 1. If less than or equal 0.5 or 0.05, A. If less than or equal 0.05 plus 0. You have an accumulation thing going on. So maybe that's more confusing to write out. Let's just write out what it'd be. B, and then if less than or equal to 0.35, C, and then that's where that fallback was coming in before. Otherwise, because it's confusing if you then just have you can't just have a D, say, you'd have to calculate and go, oh, okay, this needs to be 65%. And then if you add another monster into a pool, you've got to change that, and I really don't like that idea. So the way I did it with the loot was fallback. Use fallback type. So you also specify fallback is going to be monster D. And they will only spawn when these fail. So that's the kind of other way that you can do it. The problem, one of the weaknesses of this method though, is that say you want the base monster type to be either male zombie or female zombie, you can't specify both there. So you'd end up doing something like male zombie is the fallback, and then A would be like 50%, and that would be the female zombie, and then you do your extra odds after that. So it can be done. And to be honest, we don't have many like male-female equivalent of monsters. So I'm thinking of this purely because I've done it already and it'd be quicker to implement. I've did it for the loot system. And it's more clear to me. If I want it to be 20% chance of this monster, I don't have to think about the others. It's not relational. So I think I'll go for this second method here. For that to work then, our quest theme needs to have a U property in here. And this is going to be our F-weighted monster. Does it need to be an F-weighted monster? I don't think it does. Well, sorry, what was in there? Was there anything else I needed to know? Min amount? No. Okay, cool. So this is just going to be a E monster type fallback monster. Selection. Okay, and we can put a comment in there if we want to make it more clear. Is it like meta? I forget. Is it tooltip? If rolling for monsters, any monsters array fails, spawn a monster of this type. I think it's like that, isn't it? Should we just try compile before I copy paste it so I don't have to go and correct 6 of them if I've done it wrong? I'm pretty certain that's right though. All right. Monster types and chance to spawn them. Total chance. Total chance to spawn across all entries shouldn't exceed 1. Okay. Good. Now, in which case, we may need to rename. It's no longer weighted monster. I think it's become a non-good name for it. Weighted chance. Surely it should just be chance. So let's rename that to chance. If I'm honest with you, we'll just get rid of this. I can go back in the VOD if I need that. So the default chance shouldn't be 1. I think the default chance should be something lower like that. Right, and then we have min amount. We should probably chuck in a little bit of info on those as well. So let's go back to where we were, and let's take that tooltip out of here. And then let's go into here. We'll probably rename this class, as I said. And monster type is self-explanatory. This we can just say chance of spawning this monster if max amount hasn't been spawned yet. Okay. Min amount to spawn. Choosing one. I mean the quest. Battle will attempt to spawn. How to phrase this? Values greater than 0. The monster will attempt to be spawned. That many monsters will be spawned without rolling. Good chance. Something like that. You would have how a tip in every one of these wildlife photo videos says take more photos. I'm confused, Spacey. Are you saying you're watching some videos and they're all telling you to take more photos? It's fine then. I'm wrong then, evidentially. There must only be one truthful answer here. Like, burst mode makes sense if they're in the middle of an action and you want to get that right frame. But taking 100 pictures like 5 seconds apart is different, in my opinion. We'll not try roll chance if this many monsters. Okay. So the whole don't exceed 1 across all engines means you have to adjust all the other monsters when you add. I do see where you're coming from, but I feel the other systems, it's a trade-off. I like to be able to give a percentage to know how likely it is to spawn, rather than it being a proportion of the others, because then you need to think about it in proportion to the others. Based on how many monster types for a quest, there'll probably only be like 2 to 5 max types of monsters. So I think it'll be fine to balance those across without exceeding 100. And having the fallback type means that you don't have to add up to 100. You just say what is the chance you want of a rarer monster. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Bizarro. It's a good chat. It's worthwhile. Okay. So, this weighted monster chance. I think we're going to have to rename you, aren't you? Although... Now, I don't know if it's going to have it, but I know in... Oh, no, it doesn't have it. In the latest version, you can then rename file based on it, which is nice. Okay, so let's just search for wasted monster. Weighted, not wasted. They're not drinking, I promise you. Filters. Okay, they're not used often at all, so we can just call it monster chance instead. And we'll whack it in here as well. Monster chance. And the final thing is to go to this location. Can you do a show in here? Open containing folder, that's the boy. Okay, we're going to save, we're going to close that. We're going to rename weighted monster to be monster chance. We then are going to do a generate project files on this to make Visual Studio wake up and smell the new files. Okay, this is ready to go. This shouldn't open anymore. Let's look for monster chance now. There we go. Okay, hello there, Javasaurus. Nice to see you. Good Sunday to you. Is it Father's Day today in the UK? I should text my dad. I think it is, isn't it? Or was it American one? It is. Okay. I will go ahead and send him a message. Okay. Happy Lizard Dad Day. I mean, if I've produced such a wonderful specimen, although they are very hyperactive and jump around and stuff, I don't know if I want to take credit for that behavior. Naughty little thing. Okay, let's do that, put that back up, and then where's that quest? Did I accidentally close it? I think I did. Quest theme, I think it was. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, now we will have monster chance. This becomes monster chance. Yeah. Okay, right. So now that we've got that sorted, that was one of the things we needed to decide on. So let's open the editor. Are these all edit? They are. Cool. The next thing we're gonna have to do is like be able to read that, do the bit that will spawn monsters, a little algorithm to go through that, which isn't a problem. Monster type is unknown. Yeah, that makes sense. We need to add an include for that. Did it do it? I think it got interrupted, didn't it? I also might take a, oh, not, it's definitely not generated. Crikey. I'm tempted to break AHA types into, I don't like that we got this because it's going to start creating problems soon. So we might start separating these out into their own files soon so that we can include them independently. For now, I guess we're just going to include AHA types so we don't get too sidetracked. Okay, was there anything else? No, I think that should be good to go. It has its father's eyes. Well, the fire skinks eyes are interesting because they look like they're just pure black, which makes them look quite cute. But when you see them in the light, they kind of like have this like brown little pupil. Not pupil, I guess iris. Which is less cute, but it's interesting to see. So a little look. So yeah, see, it looks all black, but if you look close, oh dear, I'm not going to be able to. It's kind of like you can see there's like a brown and then a black in there. This is kind of more like what Chorizo looks like. Yeah, you can kind of see it. This is a lot what Chorizo looks like as well. I can see the universe in its beautiful eyes. Lost. Now I think about it, I've never looked in Lizard Eye. Well, I'd never had before Mrs. Griffin, I should say, came into my life. Right, quest themes. So in here, full moon, pack of rabid werewolves come in. Fallback monster selection. Okay, so this would just be werewolf, right? And then realistically, it wouldn't need any other type of monster in here, right? 100% is just going to be werewolves on this particular one, right? So let's delete that. Okay, that would be one. Let's add another. So another quest then would be in here, and this would be on there. We'll write these up properly, right? But there's a Halloween, hellish Halloween, whatever. These trick-or-treaters want more than just candy. They want adventurer blood. Okay. So in here, this is where you'd maybe have your, what's your default, like not nice one? I've got a picture which helps me visualize these monsters. So the Halloween ones are going to be things like Frankenstein, Dracula, maybe a werewolf, maybe a mummy. I think they're kind of dress up ones, right? Maybe zombie as well. So maybe we'll do zombie guy as the base one. So base one will be zombie. And then in here, we'll add a couple of entries for the different types. So first off, we'd say We want mummy can be 10%. Do we? Yeah, let's make sure there's at least one of them spawned as well. We'll make sure there's one of each almost, right? Although that's tricky once you, if you don't have that many on a quest, but we'll deal with that in the algorithm side of it. Vampire, we need one of those. And then Frankenstein, one of those. Cyclops is, well, we'll definitely have one of those. I think the Cyclops is less common. I don't know who would dress up as Halloween as a Cyclops, but he's going in there. We're not going to guarantee one of them. So I think we'll probably take these up to 20% chance of each. Cyclops can be a 1% chance, and then the rest of them will be the zombies. Hello there, Brainoid Games. How lovely to see you. There's a Tank, there's a Lars, and there's a flirtatious Brainoid. Hola! It's the crocodile. Yeah, the crocodile skinks are interesting ones. They have these kind of orange bits around their eyes. I like chorizo more. But we have seen some of them. They look a bit more prehistoric. For posterity. Okay, thanks for that, Bizarrio. Let me look in game dev. I may not go through all of it now because we've already decided, but I will open it in a tab to try and have a little look at later. It doesn't look too, actually, to be honest, it's not too big. We can have a little read. Given array of positive integers represent the weights of integers for weights. Okay, we need to implement an algorithm that returns the index randomly with respect to their weights. W being an array of weights. Sum W is the sum of weights. Length is the length of the array. Okay, we need to implement a pick index function that returns an index I, which is, I don't know what that symbol means. It basically means it needs to be between, I guess, 0 and length minus 1 with a probability of choosing I is going to be equal to the weight of I divided by the sum of all of them. That makes sense, yes. Pick index can be called multiple times given distribution of weights. Now, okay, 2, 1, 4, 5. Two divided by, yeah, all of them added up, right, which is 12. Is 1 over 6. Yes, yeah, this makes sense. So this is basically what I described in that earlier example by the looks of it. It is literally that, I think. Well, the -1. Oh, -1 because the sum is an 0 indexed array. Okay. About the binary search bit of it, though. Can't dynamically resize an array in Java. That is that does sound fun. To be honest, I feel like this is just making it more complicated for me. I think I understand what it's doing. The probability is both of those combined, yes. Yeah, I think this is exactly what I was on about earlier. I've lost it. I deleted the comments now. You basically just, it don't have to be integers. It could be floats. It's almost like a flex, a grid. You have it in Unreal where you can make something fill the width of the page and you give it a proportion, and then anything else that's sharing that fill space will look at everything in that fill space, and the value you put in will be proportional to the rest of them. It's that exact same concept. Don't ruin the illusion, Brainoid. Okay. Anyway, okay, so we were up in this sneeze. Excuse me. All right, that'll do for now then. Let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, based on this, we should have 30% of a zombie, which means more zombies, but there should be at least one of these. That is the aim of it. It does get tricky if you want at least one of the fallback one. But let's not worry about it. I think I'm okay with it. Server-side offers are in just... Ooh, nice. Good work, Mamba. Well, you say the example is C++ and I'd get it, but if it's not Unreal, who knows? Like, I wouldn't do that sort of thing. And I don't use, like, resize. I don't do stuff on typical arrays, unfortunately, in Unreal. I'm used to using count, for example. It's a shame. I'm like literally a an Unreal dev rather than a C++ dev, I'd say. But anyway, okay, let's crack on. Let's crack on. I don't want to get too sidetracked, as I said. Okay, so we just have 2 different types of quests. That's enough for now. We can get those from the old game or make new ones when we're feeling more creative. Okay, so now that we've got that bit done, we need to... Didn't I make a battle manager? Yes, we did. And you can have a few different teams involved in here. This is what we started with, right? So we wanted to add a battle manager into the world. That was one of our objectives. So let's go into blueprints. Let's add a new blueprint class in here. It's going to be a battle manager. We might end up making a subclass of battle manager specifically for quests if we find out there's enough, if we need to store like quest specific info in there. But yeah, hidden in game. And do we have a little icon we can set for this? Do not have any of our... There you go. You got that. AHA. So if we add one of those in, we get this. Part of me is thinking that the white thing is part of the scene root, the default scene root, if I remember correctly. Let's just scale this up, shall we? So that circle isn't as dominating. There we go. Okay, so we've got our little battle manager thing in here. Part of me is thinking I should probably make a new little map just to test this sort of stuff out. So what map are we in at the moment? Dance Sandbox. Let's make a duplicate of this, I guess. We'll call this a battle test map. Okay, let's jump into that. Okay. Turn that off. Let's get rid of the stuff we don't actually need in here. We can probably make this as well a little bit more square instead. So let's make this 4x4. Maybe 3x3 would be fine. Yeah, that's fine by me. Is this a nav mesh? It is a nav mesh. Doesn't look wide enough on the 6. Maybe 12 by 12. Close. 15 by 15 it is. Okay, so that's that. And then we may not even need a wall because I don't think they're going to fall off because the nav mesh won't take them off. Okay, and we don't need the dungeon, so we can get rid of the dungeon. Maybe we do need a dungeon, I don't know, but for now we're just using this as an example to test with what am I trying to say? Just the actual once one has started, you know, rather than testing. I'm not talking because I'm not thinking straight, sorry. We want to test just like a battle rather than the whole flow of it, so that's all good. Okay. Don't mind a little bit of, make it look a little bit nicer, eh? Shadows are long. Shadows are really long. It's because I wanted a nice sky, but I regret it now. Can you still hold, say Control L? Yeah, to move the sun around. Let's do that. Let's have it a little brighter. And that means our sky sphere is probably going to refresh and we get a different color. There we go. That's all good. Okay, so we've got all our sky stuff in here, right? Let me just take these out the way a sec. That'll do me fine. Don't want to be thinking about that right now, if I'm honest with you. Right, and then let's make a little folder for this. This will just be, I don't like the name especially, but we'll go for it. We'll just chuck those trees and that out the way in there. Environment can be closed in there. Right, camera dungeon. We've got far away. We don't particularly want that. Referencing the level blueprint. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go to that level blueprint. It's a good point. And let's not do that. We'll leave that in there in case we do want to change the camera at some point. But now what we should have is this camera, which is going to be plenty fine for us, I think. Is there, yeah, let's chuck it 0 on this. Is this at 0? It is at 0. Okay, so that camera is in the right place. We just probably want it to just not change it on the red axis. Yeah, let's just go with that. Okay, that'll do for now. Great. Okay, so we've got this little test battle level. This is going to be our battle manager in here. And the battle manager needed, now these spawn locations, I can't remember if we actually want to set them. I also don't like that the name of it doesn't have a space after it. But that's just how it is with numbers. It automatically puts spaces in the editor to try and make it look nicer. But that looks rubbish. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so generally the flow would be that we'd call into this. I think we just need to yeah, where do we do our cheats? Because we'd want to do like a command line. I think, is it in the start game flow? Yeah, in here we can just go ahead and make one. So this would be just like, I guess, just like start battle, I guess. Okay, and the start battle, maybe we should call this start debug battle or something. I think we've got a battle manager already, right? Yeah, the battle manager. Okay, so let's just make sure we got that. If the battle manager, I guess if not, then we just want to say game error, not log, sorry. In the game mode, let's do that. And then just return. Otherwise, then the battle manager, does it have any function already in there, which is like a kicking things off? No, so let's think about how we'd want to do this. We already have like prepare team functions. Yeah, so the idea is that we would get a bunch of monster data and we get a bunch of AHA users and then we would spawn them. Yeah, okay, so we can... We could hard code this and just set an array in, or we can... Like in the proper flow of it, it would be coming from the thing that starts the quest. It would get the adventurers, and then it would choose a quest, and then it would get monsters from that. So I feel like we need to do a little bit of logic before we do this. So first we'd need to get maybe fake a list of adventurers. And then we would want to choose a random quest to get monsters, and then call prepare teams. I think. I'm not sure. I'm a little confused, if I'm honest. So I'm wondering, could we just call Mamba? I don't know, is there a way I could just call and ask for like 10 users out of the database? If I don't know their names, like just to get some random test data. We don't need to make an API call for it, it's just if there's one that exists already, I could use it. If not, I just need to go ahead and make a bunch of... It'd probably be easier to do this in editor if I'm going to hard code it. So yeah, let's do this for now. Guess it would be in a debug category. So this would be category would be debug, and then we would chuck in battles. So we'll call this debug adventurers, battle adventurers maybe. As for the quest, we can generate. I don't want to do that for the I don't want to do that for the monsters because we need to generate that from a quest anyway. So I don't think I need to do that. But if I just choose, make a bunch of adventures called like Steve or whatever, it doesn't really matter. At least they'd be put into this battle then. So in the code, we'd end up going in here, debug battle adventurers. I guess we'd go prepare team. No, it'd be the battle manager dot prepare team 1. We'd pass in an array of AHA users. Oh my words, I'm a fool. Did I just leave that as it is? Yes. T array F AHA user. I don't even know, is it blueprint exposed? It probably isn't. Why is it not letting me jump to that? Oh, for flip's sake. I hate when shortcuts and that don't work in. Why is it? Okay. Where are all these members? This is confusing. Okay, they are edit anyway. I don't know why, but they are, so we'll go with it. That's fine. It means I can do what I was doing. This needs to be debug battle adventures. Let's go ahead and hot reload that again. Okay, but then the second team would need to be a T array of monster types, and this will be monsters to spawn, monster types to spawn. Okay, and then we would then need to assign that to be equals what's going to hold that. Where would this be? Would it be? Oh yeah, where is this logic going to be? This is based on the battle system. Really, it shouldn't be tied to the quest like the way that we look up the quest. So this would be part of our yeah. Do we have a quest item yet? Object or anything like that? I'm just trying to think, where's the logic going to be housed that says, okay, look up the data asset in settings to find the quest, choose a quest. So I think, well, we have some in here already, right? Yeah, generate new quest. So that's already in the game mode. So we could borrow some of this. Current quest info. What does that have in there? This is where we have the theme, number of monsters, and then we store the selected monsters and the signups. Yeah, this. Okay, so maybe we can just make a temporary one of these. Or we could just use current quest info, to be honest. But quest oh, there's so many bloody decisions. Coding. So let's just rename this. It's not just going to be a battle, is it? It's going to be start quest battle debug, just to be more specific. Okay, so we had this whole current quest info, right? Generate new quest. Okay. I'll just take me back to where I was. Okay, so it makes a new one of those. Let's have a look how this works. Okay, this at the moment is just using a default one, I think. Oh no, select quest. It's always attacking Bangladesh. No, that's fine for now. Select quest theme. Yeah, this. Okay, so let's update this then. So we need this to go into the settings. AHA settings is going to be somewhere in here. Do not access AHA settings in here anyway. And if it's a data asset, we want to go through the there's a T subclass of. Hold on. So we're going to be looking at quest themes, which is one of these Tsoft pointers, which we do have somewhere else, like dungeon monster data. Yeah, let's have a look where dungeon monster data instead. This. Okay, this is the what I wanted to do. Okay, so in here. So we're going to get the settings from here, and then we're going to go ahead, instead of getting new dungeon monster this time, we're going to be looking at our AHA settings and grabbing quest themes out of here. So it's just a data asset. Like that, I'm pretty sure. Did I call them data asset in the past though? Data. I don't think I was consistent with it, so I'm fine with just calling it quest theme. So now, okay, so we now have our quest themes, and we just want to choose one randomly from it, I guess, right? So quest themes data dot quest themes. It's going to be an array. We might as well access that now. So it's going to be a T array of F quest theme. Okay, so that should be fine. And then we want to say choose a random one, so we just do a const int 32, which would be F. Is it F math? Or was it F rand? I can't even remember. I feel like it's F math, but I'm not getting any auto completion, which really fucking drives me crazy. I hate when software doesn't work how it should. Like, it is F math and rand range, but me, I lose confidence because it doesn't auto complete. Dumb. So we're in generate quest, select theme. Okay, so this will be quest index. It's going to be equal to the quest themes dot num -1, and then our selected quest To be honest, we can just return it, I guess, right? We don't need to assign it to a variable. Oh, I put the wrong thing in there. Quest themes, like so. Okay, otherwise you do none. We should probably game error here. Unable to find quest in AHA settings. Okay. So select quest will give us a quest back. A number of monsters should be get min and get max monsters for a quest. This is, yeah. So let's add these to the developer settings. We've got to do it, and developer settings we've been messing with anyway. I mean, realistically, this should be calculated based on how many people are in chat and stuff, right? That's how it used to be. Well, you'd still maybe want a min, so we can still go with having a min. That's not a problem. So this is just going to be an int32 min monsters. Okay, let's duplicate that. Let's get quest max monsters as well. So how many we can fit on a battlefield. Do we initialize these in a constructor or anything like that? I think we do we? No. We just give them a base value to begin with. Something like that. We can add an API just for the count. Yeah, that'd probably be cheaper. The downside with the chat is what we found with the last game is really misrepresentative how many people are actually in the stream versus how many people are in the IRC chat. So it'd say, oh, I've got 30 people in chat, but reality is I've got around 10 viewers. So it could be... it's not just bots though as well. It's some people who are viewers, but they just have a constant connection to they're joined via chatty or something like that, which means that they're always in. I wonder whether we can just make a Twitch API call of like how many viewers a stream has, because that seems to be more representative of it. For example, what am I, according to Twitch, I'm on 11 now, but if I click on chatters, where is my chat box in here? I don't have the normal. Where's the little thing that lets me see like chat users in chat? So there's more than 11 in there, right? But it feels like it's representative more of who's actually in the stream. I don't know if it's actually available though. I don't think it is, if I'm honest with you. But it's a number that they display, so you'd think, you know, it could be. It's actually a useful number. But yeah, that would be good. If I can just get, even if it is just that chat list for now, we can refine it in future, Mamba. But we can just do the chat number. That'll be fine for now. We can refine it in future. Okay, so let's save that for now. That means that back where we were, which was in the game mode, I'm pretty sure. We're going to get from our settings. Quest min. Okay, we got rid of some to-dos while we're there, which is nice. If you're going to hard code a number like that, you might as well make it a good one, eh? So we choose a random amount between these. I also feel I don't want two. I know we had to do it before, but I feel monsters are attacking. There's going to be at least 3 monsters. I was going to go high and then realized no, my chat's not the most booming place always, is it? So 3 seems fine. Okay, so back in here then. So this will return the new quest. We now have a quest. We have a theme. Well, that brings the theme back, right? Okay, so once we've got that quest, the monsters to spawn are going to be based on that, right? So current quest info dot right here, right there. Numbers of monsters has been set, right? Selected monsters and haven't. So theme. Here we go. So we need a way to. We can probably make a function on the theme to generate this. Do you reckon? You can have functions on structs, can't you? Or you just can't make them U functions. Right, so we can still make a function on it. Target theme of number of monsters. Would we do it in here? Or would we do it within theme? I think we'd do it within theme, but pass in a parameter of how many monsters. So let's jump into theme. And then we want to make a public function, which is going to be a void. No, it's going to be a T array of eMonster types is the return type, and this is going to be get monsters or generate monsters for quest theme. Yeah. And then we're going to go int 32 number of monsters. Okay, cool. Do we have a .h for this? I don't know if we do. A .cpp I meant. No. We could do it in there, but personally I prefer having a .h. So let's go ahead and make a dot. Or can we just define it in here, I wonder? Let's just try this, because I'm not 100% this is where I want it. So let's just crack on for now. It's just you can't debug it that when it's done in the H very easily, as far as actually if it's not in line, maybe you can. Anyway, okay. Generate monsters for quest theme. So what we would do here is based on the number of monsters, we'd do our algorithm, right? Where we would go through the monster selection. Okay, so first off, we'd make an int32 monsters spawned equals 0. Okay, and then what we'd need to do is iterate over each one. We'd need to make a T array that we're tracking as well. T array of eMonster type. Monsters to spawn. Okay, then what we'd want to do is we'd go over our for. Is it for each? I can't I hate that I don't even know the syntax. I haven't been coding much at all recently. That looks wrong to me. You just need a reminder of, you can do a 4 like that, but you can do more better than that. That is what I'm looking for. Oh my gosh, sometimes. Okay, so this will be an F monster. To be honest, we don't want to make copies of these, so we can just make references to them. This will be chance. And this is going to be within monster selection. Iterate over each one of those, we get ref to it, and we basically say, this is first going to be like spawn the min amount required per monster if possible. No, let's just do that. So in here we say if monster chance min amount greater than 0, then what we want to do is for int 32 I equals 0, while I is less than monster chance min amount, then what we want to do is add to our array monsters to spawn dot add, then we should rename this to monster types maybe. We should add monster chance I feel like this should be monster chance info as well, because it's not just a chance, is it? But monster chance dot monster type. So we're going to add that, and then before we go on to the next one, we're going to say if monsters. So we'd increase monster spawned like so, and then we'd say if monsters spawned is equal to or greater than or equal to, sorry, number of monsters, then we want to break. I guess we could just return at that point rather than break. It might be easier. Okay, that's unlikely to happen, but it could happen. Actually, no, it's not that unlikely to happen. Okay, so it would be nice to debug this though, which is why we might move it over. We'll see if we can debug it in the header. I can't remember if you can. Okay, so this is the first minimum amount per monster. It goes through each monster, and then based on the minimum amount there, it will spawn that many of them. The min amount is a tricky one because that would surely scale with the amount of monsters. I guess if we just use it as a 0 or 1, it makes sure that there's at least one monster at the moment rather than a set amount of them. Yeah, we could refactor in future. That feels really what the purpose of it is, rather than setting any value that is different to 1 or 0. In which case it could be a bool, right? But okay, monster chance min amount. Okay, so we've gone through that. Then what we're going to do is loop over it again. spawn by chance the remaining number until we've spawned the number of monsters. Let's say selected, we're not actually spawning them. Okay, and I think we've done something very similar to this already. Don't we have like an accumulated loot chance somewhere in here? Yeah, here. This. Something like that. Let's just borrow this for a sec. Oh, crikey, no, it wasn't in there, was it? It was in the types theme. Have a little look at this. So found in loot table. Oh, this is only spawning one, you see. I guess would we loop until we've hit that many number of monsters? I think we would. No, not I. This is going to be. Well, no, we want to check. No, we're not incrementing I. So this is more of a while loop. I don't like adding while loops, typically. So while monsters spawned is less than that, we're gonna do this. So first thing we do is selected loot. Okay, so this changed to F monster chance. Would it be actually? I don't know whether. Yeah, we don't. This can actually just be an E monster type. Selected monster. Accumulated chance can stay as that. Okay, so call it selected monster by chance. I should have probably renamed these properly, but it's okay. We can continue. Okay, then we come into this and we go through each one of these and we accumulate the chance based on monster chance dot. Is it chance I called it? That's what I did. Okay, then our roll of the dice we haven't rolled yet. Where did we roll the dice in this one? Up here. So in this case we would roll up here, right? Yeah, that should be fine. We add to the chance and then we check, is it equal to it? And if so, then we want to take monster chance basically. Yeah, this is doing like an extra one in there. If I remember, it's choosing a random one in there. We don't actually need to do that. So I think it's more straightforward, this one. We literally just say selected monster. No, sorry, selected monster equals monster chance dot type then we do our little, we basically don't need to keep going through it then, right? We would break from it, and we have then selected monster by chance, and we would break, right? Okay, so that means when we get to here, we say, hey, have you not selected one by chance? If not, then we need to go ahead and just use the fallback one. Is not going to be equal to monster chance. This will just be fallback monster selection, like so. Okay, that works. And then we need to do an increment at this point, right? So we would then add, yeah, we'd do just like we did up here. We'll take this, but we'll do that at the end, I guess. Because they'll complain about old paths not having a return thing. So if we just do it like this, and then once you're outside of the while loop, we would then return monsters to spawn, monster types to spawn. So we add it, we increment it, which makes sure that this while loop will eventually finish. It's not gated behind any if. Now the trouble is, would we want to track how many of them that we've spawned? Yeah, we need to make yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, we should. Let's sort this now. Selected monster quantity. Quantities. I mean, we could use this and then use that to generate this at the end, but to be honest, whatever, it's fine. Okay, so whenever we add one, we also want to say what's the syntax of this? If you don't know that it exists already, I know you can find or add. Find or add sounds the right one, right? But then we would pass in the monster type here, right? We'd say find us that. Can you just do like plus plus? I don't even know if you can do that. That looks wrong. Let's see if I can find anything on this. We want it to be T-map specifically. It's somebody. So okay, what's the return type of find or add? Key, so key and value, it would just give you back the number. Oh, I can't remember how this works. Such weird syntax with this stuff. Basically, what I want to say is, if it's already in there, then increase it by 1. If not, we want to set it to be 1. But find or add implies that it will add it if it doesn't exist already. But how do we set it off? No, I won't be using link in Unreal C++. Hey Graham, nice to see you by the way. That's a lie. That is a lie. Okay, we got some examples here. Okay, so by here, you just do find or add and pass in a key, it wouldn't have a value, right? Because it added it and you didn't give it a quantity, right? Right. Does find ref do here? Find ref would just be empty, is it? If it was not on the map, it will return a newly created element with your key. The default constructed value is also added because it can potentially modify the map. That's for non-const. And a copy of associated value with it. Okay, we might just have to do it in a long-winded way because I don't know. Basically, the problem I have here, right, is that I want to increment a value as well, so it becomes even weirder here because we're going to find and add the entry for the monster. So if it's in there already and you've added 2 of them, we want to get it, then we want to increment it. But this returns a copy, I'm pretty sure, rather than a ref to it, so you can't just increment it that way. So instead we'd need to just go, you'd end up having like a, you'd have this line twice. You'd have find or add first to get how many are in there. And then you would set it to, well, to this +1, which feels really wrong. I doubt so. I'm gonna just do it more. So if selected monster, is there contains in this? Oh no. How do you know if it's a valid key? Because it has key. Give me autocomplete, you jerk. That is it. Hey Haltsy, nice to see you. Oh my words. Okay, I'm forgetting everything. Well, is there like a contains? Find or add and find ref succeed even when the keys are found. You can safely call them without the usual safety procedures like checking contains in advance. Yeah, but I want to. You could check the contains function. Okay, so there is a contains function. Why when I do this does it not give me contains? I've said it 4 times today, I hate when flipping software doesn't do its job. It is a map. Alright, cheers. Thank you, autocomplete, really helpful. So if it contains this, I guess first off we'd do if it doesn't contain, and then we'd just add it. Actually no, we can just do selected monster quantities of monster chance dot monster type. Yeah, I do plan on, but I like using the same one between work. And I'm using Visual Assist, which is a paid extension, which is meant to make it work. The downside is I have stopped paying for it, so it hasn't updated for like 1.5 years. But generally, we use it in professional environments. Other than Ryder's latest thing, like Visual Assist was the go-to, and it isn't bad. But yeah, without anything, it's terrible. You are correct. All right, so plus. We should do that because it's just integer. All right, we can do that. Otherwise, we're just gonna selected monster add. Actually, do they just add and then? Or if I want to give it not find or add, just a normal add. Fruit keys. I don't want to. Okay, you just give it both of them. Two parameters. So this would be monster chance dot monster type, and then this would be 1. We've got one of them in there. Okay. Now once we've done that, realistically they should never be the same amount. We shouldn't have to do it in here really, because you're not going to exceed the max. But we will need to do this down here anyway. Oh no, but we want to add into it anyway. No, yeah, undo. Dan, you thought correctly before and you just forgot. So we're just adding it. We don't need to restrict by it. We're just keeping track of it. Let's get rid of this nasty line. I'm going to check with some colleagues though. Whether this is it does look horrid. I'm going to get rid of it. Anyway, okay, cool. Really, we should group this into a little function itself, but we're already, this is a temporary home potentially for it already. So that gets added, number of monsters to spawn, then we're done. Okay, now when we get into this bit, before we even consider it, we'd need to check. Would we still do accumulated chance? That's a good point. No. So for each monster chance in here, we would do a check here to say, like, are we even going to try and spawn it? Because otherwise we're increasing the odds of that next monster, which isn't reflective of how it should be. So if our selected monster quantities this is where I don't know. No, I've just got to do this bloody ship again, haven't we? So we get the type. So if it contains it, we then go. I mean, you could do it in the same one, selected monster quantities of monster chance dot monster type is equal to monster chance dot max amount so this will allow you to just like only spawn one only of a certain enemy. So maybe you won't always spawn it, but if you do spawn it, you only want one of them because they might be really difficult, for example. So we already spawned the max amount. Okay. It'd be an else here. Do I want to negate this or do I just go? Isn't there like a go to the next one? It is. What's it called? Is it next? Oh, what's it called? The continue. That's the one. Okay, otherwise we can carry on and do what we were doing, right? The only thing that we would do different in here would be at this bit, we need to do that same logic again. Sorry, just responding to a colleague. We may be able to do it in the shorter version, which would make this a lot more readable. Okay, so we might be able to do, I think what the very first thing I wrote was selected monster quantities, and then I doubted myself. So selected monster quantities, you do find or add monster chance. Wait, why are you not auto-completing that? Oh, you fucking useless software. I think you can just do that, which is the first thing I wrote. Which is a lot more clean. So we're gonna go for that. And we can do that in here as well. We'll see if we get any compile issues. See, and then when it's just a one-liner, it feels you can't just have things all together like this. Which helps with readability as well, because they are all kind of related. Okay. I guess this could be more than. It shouldn't ever be more than, though. But it makes sense based on the logic, right? So if the amount we spawned are more than or equal to the max amount, then we skip over this particular monster. Okay. Then we fall back. All right. I think we got it. Hold C. Thank you very much for the subscription, good sir. It is appreciated. Nice fade, fresh cut. I got my hair cut Friday. Yes. Look, like they didn't do anything to the top. I asked them not to. I'm considering trying to get it back up to the Dan bun length. It's easier to raise money for charity when you've got longer hair to threaten to shave off. Also, I still need to bleach it at some point, don't I? So there'll be more of it to bleach. Get my money's worth, right? However, yeah, it's funny just how much more clean or well groomed or whatever you look just with shaved sides. Like mine growing out quite a bit, and it was just so hot the last few days. I was like, I should get my hair cut. Thank you. 17 months of support. I appreciate it, though. Okay. Nice. Let's do this then. Let's see if it actually works. Let's close this down. I should probably go and get a drink and maybe some lunch as well. But we'll kind of test this first. Okay. So monster chance doesn't know what monster chance is. Do we not have an include for it already? We have a T array of them. Monster chance is included. Which one doesn't it know? Down. Okay, here, hold on. Selected monster it would be. That was my mistake. Copy past the problems. Very true. People like making people cut their hair. Weird but true. People like making people cut their hair. I'll see you're confusing me. Oh, we didn't even finish this code here. Monsters to spawn now is going to come from this, right? current quest info .theme .generate monsters. That should now give us this back. And if we can whack a breakpoint there, we can have a look at what comes back. Right now, I guess we can prepare it. We're not starting the battle, it doesn't matter. And then at that point, we would, the battle manager, prepare team 2. And this would be our monster types to spawn. And will this return? This might need to return because we need to set a list of the adventurers. Am I claiming this is going to be spawning them? Yeah, I haven't done it yet. So yeah, that's an interesting one. We could always do another function called like spawn team 2, and then that would give us return a list which we need to assign to this quest thing. But right now this is fine, I think. Okay, let's give this a go. Oh, sorry. I understand what you're saying now in terms of like charity thingy-majiggy. Yes. I thought you meant just like the person I went to get my haircut on yesterday, that it's weird, but they do like cutting hair. Well, it's kind of their job. Oh, now we need to get the max number of monsters, don't we? Current quest info dot number of monsters, which would have been made in the generate quest, I think. Yes. Okay. So the good thing about this debug is this is exactly what we're going to do for the real one. We've been implementing functions that will be called within the quest flow. So that is good with me. Okay, but cannot convert T-array of e-monster types to AHA user. You shouldn't need to. There's an override, isn't there? Yes. Oh, no, we need monster data. Oh, so prematurely. Okay, well, we can still test a little bit. Okay, we then need to make monster data out of it. Blast. So we need to get that from our lookup table. So for now, we then need to monster take based on selected types to spawn. Then we will do this. Okay. Barber would be if yeah, guys go to barbers, girls. Just saying how it is when you've been brought up, at least. Guys go to barbers, girls go to hairdressers. Maybe a salon. All right, we're going to test this. I'm going to go sort out some lunch. We're just going to need to heat up some food, and then I'll pop on and we'll carry on. But yeah, I said to the guy that I wanted to try and grow it again, because normally they'll try, like, I say, oh, I don't want much off the top, and they still take like that much off, and I'm like, well, I'm struggling to get. I almost said I'm struggling to get it up. Then that would have been a good sound bite, eh? But yeah, I can't. It's not long enough at all to kind of tie up at the moment, so I need to not touch it. So he was like, yeah, I won't touch the top, which was appreciated. Although I don't think he liked the idea of me tying it up. He was like, well, if you want to go that way, if that's the style you want to do, stop judging me, judger. Where are we? I made myself a battle test map here. We have one of these. Do we have yeah, game mode we need to go for? In here I made a little array for debug. Did I not expose it out, or am I being blind? We did debug battle, uProperty, blueprint read only. This is not what we want. We want edit defaults only. And the annoying thing is, with the game mode, it ends up like loading 2 of them if you just do a hot reload, so it's almost easier just to relaunch it. Okay, so back we go to our battle map. Get rid of the green sky. Okay, so now if we go to our game mode, we should be able to find ourselves a little array that we can make in here of adventurers. Oh my gosh, there's so much data, I forgot. All right, for now, I guess it doesn't matter. We're just going to put 1. And we're going to say Steve. Adventurer Steve. And they're going to have an outfit. Oh my gosh, do I really need to do this for it to spawn them? I think we would. I don't even know where it says what their current selected outfit is. Ah, current. It just has a tick box, yes or no. Okay. Name, description, all that doesn't really matter. I don't know what ID means. We'll just set it to 1. Okay, cool. So we've got a... Where did that even go? How did that shrink so much then? Duplicate that. We'll add another adventure in here. This is going to be Adventurer Bob. They're going to be a number 2, and they can be a barbarian. Let's not call him Bob. I've said female, so let's just go Steve and Susie. Susie? Now I don't even know how. Sue. Okay, I couldn't remember how to spell Sue, so I just got rid of the problem. Okay, then we want to add another one, duplicate. Okay, so 3, Twitch ID 3. That is 3. This is going to be Adventure Dave. And Dave will be a knight. Wonderful. Do we do one more? Let's do one more quickly. Okay, and this time it's going to be Adventurer Jan. Going to be 4, and your outfit is going to be a ninja. Congratulations, Jan. Okay, so we've now got a little bit of test data to work with at least. All right, what we want to see is, if I was to start this, I already crashed. Okay, it means that our error strings is not the same length. I understand why that is, because we recently changed. Oh, am I going to lose that bloody setup I just did? I hope not. So we added one already enlisted in the error strings. Ah, don't we make it a... Exactly. To do, use enum max to avoid this sort of bloody... problem. How do you do that max thing? There's a way to do it where it doesn't show up. This. Okay, I would like this to have one of these. So then we can do so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? And we were making it of 11. That makes sense. But this is going to be... Is this 1 or is this 0? I can't remember. Hey, Cookie. I will read your message in just a sec, Bizarrio. I don't, I think it'd be max -1, would it? Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. Oh my God, go back to here, go back to here. So this should be our, let's convert it to a int 8. And then we want to do WebSocket max. So I don't know if that's going to make one of 12 or not. Or 13, because it could be max -1. It might be that. Let's just see what happens, shall we? Enum stat is 0 generally. Yeah, so it would be max. Well, no, because max. Yeah, actually, they have to, because we're going in the first spot here. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, you can decide on the values, but no, that's a very good point. You just answered my question, both. Thanks. So that means that this is, they were 12. This is the 13th one, so that'll be 12. So we actually don't need to -1 from it. Thank you. That's what I needed. So, Bizarro, yeah, people attach self-worth to hair, so if you can make someone cut his or her hair, you get a feeling of taking something from that person that he values, and therefore affect their identity in some way. And I don't know what I'm saying. No, you got a point. It feels like you're making someone do something big, because I guess hair is a long-term investment if you're growing it, stuff, right? But for me, I could have easily had this cut, probably got almost around half of it off and just had it short. So I guess growing it out a bit longer for what I said earlier isn't the worst. It's not going to be too bad for me if I do get it cut off at a later date. Okay, that goes off. I just want to check, did my game mode break and lose those silly dummy records I added? No. Wonderful. Thank you, Unreal, for not breaking. Okay, let's try again. Do we crash? We didn't crash. Okay, we've got a weird UI constantly on and we can move around. All we want to do is see the logic that happens. So this is going to be called start quest debug battle. We hit a breakpoint, not a crash, which is good. So we've generated a new quest. The quest we got is Hellish Halloween. These trick-or-treaters want more than just candy. They want adventure blood. Great. So now we want to go in and generate the monsters for quest. Will it let us debug this? Yes. Great. Okay. So first off, we want to spawn the minimum amount of each one. So our monster chances, our monster selection in here, there's 4 different ones. There's mummies, vampire, Frankenstein, and Cyclops. There's a minimum amount for the first 3 of them, but not the Cyclops. So by the end of this, we should have 3 things in here. 1, 2, 3, and this one should not go in. Okay, as expected. So now we should have, we just look at this, we should have 1 of each, mummy, vampire, Frankenstein, and in here we should have I don't know why it's 14, 15. Are we doing plus on 0? Is that not working? That's interesting. It could be that line that broke that we spoke about earlier. Hey there, how you doing, Pommer the dog? Yeah, it's going good. I'm glad that we're doing a stream a week on it, because if we were just doing 1 a month, we would have never gotten anywhere. It just takes time. But it's good, just working on an underlying, or the start of a battle system, which will be like how the quest thing works, where you have one team versus another and they fight. So it's just about spawning monsters from some quest info at the moment. Okay, so we might have some issues while reading from this quantities in a bit. I'm concerned about the data that's in there. Actually, hold on. Does it say 1 after them? Am I misreading? It does. Okay, never mind. It does say 1. It did work fine. I guess the type, it's storing it as an uint8 value, maybe is showing that. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So now we roll the dice to spawn the remaining. So we're only spawning 4 monsters this time. Okay. So we only need to spawn 1 more. We're going to roll the dice. The dice was 0.22. Based on my recollection, that should spawn us a vampire, I think. Because it'll fail the first 20% chance. We'll see now. Okay. So the first one in here, does it contain... Oh yeah, have we hit the max amount of that monster? We haven't. Let's carry on. So the chance we need to beat is, yeah, 20% chance for this particular monster, which is for our mummy. Our roll of the dice is not less than that, so we will carry on. Next monster, their chance is another 20%, I think. So this should go up to 40% chance now. Roll of the dice is less than that. This is for the vampy boy, I think. Yeah, vampire. Therefore, it has been selected. We set that to vampire. It's true. We then break out of this. We have been selected, so we don't need to use the fallback zombie monster. And then monster types to spawn. We add in that vampire. This now means that we find or add. So let's have a little look at this before. Our vampire is on 1. After this line, our vampire should now be on 2. Perfect. And then monster spawn gets to 4. This should then mean that this no longer passes. We now return monsters to spawn, and we now get ourselves the array, which is exactly what we wanted. Mummy, vampire, Frankenstein, vampire. Lovely. And if we did that again, it would be different based on however many we got. So I can go ahead and do another one of those. And I tell you what, let's just press F10 and then look at what we got this time. There's 13. So we got Mummy, Vampire, Frankenstein. You'll always start with those because there's one of each. Then we got Vampire, Frankenstein, Mummy, Vampire, Frankenstein, Cyclops, Zombie Male, Vampire, Mummy. Great. Okay, that looks legit. And then if we do another, what's our quest type? Are we still on a full moon? Okay, so this one should just be all werewolves. That's the logic here. So we're going to go into, we'll go this one through, just make sure I've considered it. So monster selection should be empty, right? So it should skip it. So it doesn't need to do minimum amount of those. While we need to spawn 14 monsters, we roll the dice. Selected monster by chance is that. Accumulated chance is 0. And then we skip over that. Has selected monster been done? No. Therefore, you become a werewolf. We add it. Werewolves get 1. Brilliant. So we can jump out of this now. And at the end of it, we should have ourselves a ton of werewolves. Yay! It works! Okay. I'm going to be eating just for a mo. So I'll keep Doggo up for a bit. So the next bit is we need to get the, based on the monster type, we need to look them up and spawn them. Now, I've got a feeling we might want a different type of pawn to be used. At the moment we have a, where's the monsters? Not what we use in the dungeon. Yes, we do. Ah. Okay. That I didn't expect. I don't even know where the Dandel executable is at the moment. Good idea, though. Could have put it up while I was away. See, this is what I'm worried about, is that is there logic in here that is dungeon specific that we don't want in our monster? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I mean, you might want them to die in a different way, but right now, on room event begin. See, that is the sort of weird stuff. They're not in rooms. I feel I don't know the right way to do this. I think we probably want this stuff as a base, but this is not correct. They should be in a subclass of it. So I think we should make a subclass of this one. A child blueprint. Okay, so this is going to be BP monster. How did I call the adventurer? Adventure porn dungeon, adventure porn. Okay, so monster porn dungeon. I reckon that sounds filthy, doesn't it? Yeah, dog is still up just because I'm finishing eating and it's pasta, spaghetti. Messy food. Hello there, Miri. So what we need to do now, if this is the dungeon variant of it, we just need to get rid of this. Because, oh no. We need to copy this. Compile save, then whack this in here. Because it's only this one that cares about room events. Then what we need to do is to go into our game mode and set the monster type, not game mode, sorry, settings. Monster port, yeah, see, it's, oh, this is for the dungeon. I feel we almost need to rename these to be related to like a dungeon one or not, because I think we're gonna have different types. I forgot my mug. Alicia, when you get a chance, no immediate rush, could you fill my mug with lemon water and bring it up? Okay, the noodle has been eaten. Hold on, offer list, offers accept, offers reject, offers make, offered list, offered reject. I can't think what all these do. Are these chat commands? Okay. Yeah, because like offers reject makes it sound like you've got to reject all your offers at once. If that makes sense. I'll wait for the help thing. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Mamba. I appreciate the work. Okay, so yeah, what I'm trying to look at right now is whether we need, as much as they're in a category called dungeon, what would we call our other monster type of monster? So I think we might need to go ahead and change in our settings. She is quick.
I didn't know which mug was yours.
I think it was this.
Oh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's wrong? Have I got food on my face?
Oh, sure, but also.
Oh, did I have food on my face?
No, but I'm like.
You just
the edges of your mouth. Thank you.
Spaghetto. Nice one, man. But yeah, appreciate it. I don't know how long I'm going today. I'm going while I still feel motivated, I guess. Yeah, let's go ahead and change. Right, see, we got Dungeon Adventurer Pawn class. Dungeon. Ah! Wait there, wait there. Thank you, Cookie, for the follow. I appreciate it. Nice to have you here. Dungeon Monster. Ah, this is the problem. These bloody display names. Don't know why I thought it was a good idea. It doesn't help. It just confuses. Unless it really looks crap when you convert a variable name into a display name. Really don't like these bloody monster, like dungeon monster data. Let's just get rid of them. I've made a decision. Monster sprite sheet. No, we're getting rid of it. If it's slightly different, then what's the point? Either you need to rename that or not. Dungeon Assassin class. That's a better name than... I'm going all grumpy now. These bloody... Right, the nice thing about these is we can do a cheeky little Alt-Control drag. Over like all of these, right? Well, these are all lined up. Oh, it stops there. Blast. All right, that's a little better. Not often you get to use the old thing. So, oh, one said ass. Wonderful. So make the most of it when you can use them. Yeah, I don't know why I thought like display name was a nice thing to do. It's just pointless. Why not put it? It can have a meaning, but it shouldn't be the default. We've had this in work before, where you see a member and then you search in a code base for that name, but it's not a member. It's not a variable name because this space is here. It makes it hard to find. It's misleading. Okay, we're almost done with these. Oh, do you see it messed up my indentation there? That made me sad. Okay, good. We don't have those bloody categories anymore. See, it is actually called a dungeon monster class, which makes a lot more sense. And now we can have a quest-based one as well. Well, I don't know if it'd be quest. Probably going to do this. Both of these. This is all in the dungeon section for now. Right, and then we're in the quest. Quest themes. Let's just whack this in here. And we're going to have a quest characters. And these are going to be the quest. And the quest. I don't know whether it'd be quest or battle. Maybe battle would be sufficient, but we can just make one called a battle and assign it there. That's it. Doesn't, the member name is correct. It's what we're using for quests. So quests. I think they can stay in generic. Okay. So now that we got that sorted, we'll probably close this. Get that recompiled. So now that we'll have a different type. Can that go in? We now need to go ahead and spawn adventurers and monsters. We don't know the spawn locations at the moment. We could do a EQS where we give it a center point and we do like a donut around that location, or you can do a grid. Grid would work perfectly fine in this case, and it would choose a random point around there, and you could set up some rules to say this is not a valid location if it intersects with another pawn or anything actually. I think that would make it more robust, but it'd take a bit longer. We have a castle in here as well, because we generally would want one of the little kingdom castles, right? So let's say that the kingdom is, oh, the lighting is not too favorable. All right, let's just chuck it on this side, shall we? We can move the trees. All right, so that is there. What we generally want is the ability to you don't have to keep a clear area, that they could deal with it. That's what I'm trying to get at. Looks like it was eating its veggies, Dan. I don't know what you were chatting about. What are you chatting about? Oh, is it the castle eating these? Yeah, okay, fair. That's a good point. Okay, so project settings now, if we jump into our AHA settings, and then we should have a couple of new ones in here now, right? So this now comes out as Dungeon Monster Class. Can you see? It's a lot clearer, all these names out there, the actual proper names. We go into that quest section, characters. Well, okay, so a quest, this is where we need to think about it. So let's go ahead and jump at this. So we have a monster pawn for the dungeon, and then we want another derived class for the world. I don't know whether we call it a battle. Maybe we just call it battle. So we'll just do that for now. As for our adventure, we've got one called dueling already. And this is one I think I set up where it has a bit of a behavior tree already, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there's a dueling AI controller. I don't know whether we'd use the same behavior tree. So for now, I'm going to go in with a clean slate and just make a different derived class instead. So let's go back to blueprints, pawns, and then we've got an adventurer. Where's the base one? There. What's this one then? Is this being used anyway? I feel like blueprint components. Something's been added in. The arrow. Okay, do we use this anyway? Yes. No. Yes. Okay, we use it in one of our behavior trees. Oh, I think I made a click to move player controller, didn't I? Completely forgot about that. So you could move them around manually. Which could be interesting in its own way, but not really something I need to be distracted by now. Well, behavior trees is part of Unreal, though. I mean, so is code. Look, shush. So to go through the dungeon, we don't use a behavior tree. We just tell him go from one room to another, and we move him around manually, and the monsters just stand still. Okay, it's a bit clunky. I'd like to improve in future, but it is what it is. Now this one is going to be more free roaming, potentially, where they get spawned in a place and then they would just fight, and they could follow a behavior tree to go and fight. However, first iteration we might just go more simple and put against each other, and they just hit whoever they're opposite, if that makes sense. But the two implementations are very different, which is what I'm concerned about, because we'll invest time in an implementation I don't plan to keep. Which is a shame. But, okay, so we have the base. Does this come from base at least? Okay, we have a base one. What are we? We have a bunch of adventurer pawns at the moment that we're not actually using properly, as far as I can understand. So we use this adventure pawn dungeon. To be honest, that's the only logic that we have working at the moment, so we can, let's just care about those. Where are you? Dungeon 1. What's your parent class? Adventure pawn base. So it is, okay, that is good. What about you? Okay, so they do both come from this one. It's just this one which doesn't seem, I don't know if I want to rename it. Can you give it like a tag or something like that? I forgot how this works. Yeah, I can't remember. It's currently used in something, so I feel a bit. You know what, let's just go and fix them up, shall we? So let's go into this chase monster, browse, go into it. Why does it have a reference to that? Okay, it's casting to that. So we just need to cast it to a different thing, right? Do it to the base one instead. Done. Let's not avoid it, just and leave it lingering. Let's fix it. There's no one else going to fix it for me. This one, let's jump to that. And what do we have in here? Same thing again. The exact same, where the casting failed goes to that, and the casting success will go to that. And this comes into here. And they don't actually use it. Okay, and that's safely disconnected now. Lock that in. Anything else in there? No. Compile save. Okay. And the final thing it had a reference to was the controller. Let's jump to that. I don't need to double click it each time, I just am for some reason. And in here, like there's no logic in here, is there? No, I've not made any function. Ooh, there are. There's variables. I see. I see. Okay, that could. Let's look in here for adventurer. Ah. I mean, it may not actually use them. Get actor of class. What is he doing there? Oh, is that on begin play? Oh, no, that's base though. Okay, so that one's fine. Draw reference. That's the base as well. So where is it actually? This. Character reference, adventurer reference. I'm confused. Why do we have both of those? Why is it? What's the character reference? What do we do with that bloody character reference? We get it over here. Find trace by channel. We get the controller for that. Now this can easily just become the adventurer reference instead. I don't even know what this does properly, but we're not getting the information off of that. It doesn't need to be that specific one. So based on that logic, we can just rip this out. This, I don't like how I'm doing that. Shouldn't be pulling it off of the set adventure from begin play within the left mouse click. Yeah, this used the adventure reference for left mouse, and then middle mouse we use the other one. Who knows why? But either way, that should now get rid of that reference. So now, if we go back here, there should be no references to it. Hang on. No, it still has a reference. Is it because we haven't saved it? No, it still has a reference to it somewhere. Okay. So, it's because we still have this, which is of that type, right? So let's delete that. Compile, save. Now we come in here, now refresh. Now it's gone. Now we can safely delete this. However, the AI controller, let's jump into this. Does it have a... No, is this just references the AI controller? That's all it means, isn't it? Yeah, it's not a backwards relationship. Okay, that's cool. So we can now get rid of this, I'm pretty sure, if we jump to this. What are you all thinking about open source games? Sorry, Cookie, that was 5 minutes ago. I've just been out of it. It's tricky. Games take ages. So if you're not making a game and making decisions in a game design and stuff is very difficult, and you kind of don't want too many people to be doing it. So yeah, it's tricky. I think there's a lot of a lot of questions around it because you don't want too many people trying to take ownership over what kind of game it's going to be in that. So whether in an open source project that would work because technically everyone can contribute, right? And then secondly, it's a lot of work normally, and so to do that without any money back from it, you'd need to be like a collaborative group of people who really just doing it for fun. I'm not too sure if it works in like it could work in a project in a team. I'm not too sure if it'd work as just anyone could get involved at any time. Whether that would add problems to it. Okay, so let's close this now. We can now delete this. Goodbye. Excellent. So we now have these which are correctly set up. Right, this assassin one should probably be renamed to Dungeon. Just we might get an assassin in the world at some point. So let's just do that just in case. You have an offer from Yolanda Weber. 83 gold for Warlock card 2 and an offer from Anya47 for 100 gold for Santa card 3. So you offer, you accept. So can you add multiple to that, I guess? Or is it just one at a time, the offers accept? Yeah, that sounds about right, Cookie. Hey, Kura Pebbles, hello. One at a time, yeah. Yeah, I'll have a think once you're done with it. I'll have a think about the phrasing, just because like offers accept seems plural and it might be a little bit not the most intuitive to begin with. But I'll wait until you're all done with it and we can review it, man. But in terms of functionality, though, it looks pretty cool. I like how it says what they're being offered and how much gold from which person. Okay, so the whole reason I was doing this is because we now need to spawn different types of monsters. We don't and adventurers because they're going to live in the world, so they're not going to be commanded through the dungeon. So we're having a different kind of base class for those. That's okay though. Right, so based on that now then, finally, if we go back to, well, by here, we need to get the monster data based on it. So we have an asset that we've used in here. It's in the dungeon, I think. Monster in here, monster sprites, monster data. Yeah, I think this is just general. Oh, it's under sprites, I just realized. Is that really where I want it to live? I don't know. Because this is not to do with the sprites. This is just the dungeon monster data. So I wonder, do we just do a... would we? We could reuse this for now, whether we need a different one. For a quest, I'm not too sure. Realistically, it is a bit harsh. If it spawns a bunch of samurais, you're going to lose 90% of the time you try and kill them. But they only have 1 health. But still, it's a tricky one, right? But right now it means we don't need to... Oh, mind you, look at this. It's got its like easy, medium, and hard monsters. Really, I get... How am I going to find this info? It's been working so far where I just go, oh, give me a medium monster. Then it's okay. But now we're in a position where I want to just find out the information for the skelly. So it's making me feel we probably do want a different type of asset for this, where we have a map. Where the map holds... the monster type, so we can look it up. So we can say, right, we want to spawn a Skellycaster. And so we can just say, in that whole map of it, get me their info. Because at the moment, we're going to have to iterate over everything trying to find it, which is dumb. I'm currently working on a project called AHA2, which is a successor of the old stream overlay game I used to run on my stream. And you can see a clip of it running there if you wish. But it used to be like a little dungeon at the bottom of the screen, and people in chat would be selected to randomly go into this dungeon, they're fighting off monsters, and you gather like gold and cards, which you can use to unlock different outfits. And also fame. So you join a kingdom and you'd earn fame for every kind of dungeon run you do in order to become the most famous and notably king or queen of that kingdom. And then at the end of the month, they would be winners announced of like which kingdom was the most famous and things like that. So remaking it in Unreal Engine rather than so it's a 3D. They'll still use like 2D sprites. So the idea is it'd still like use little sprites like this that we could just, you know, bob along like this, and they could still fight. But we just kind of try making a like a nice low poly 3D world for them to be in instead, because it opens up like what we can actually do a bit more. So yeah, initially it started as I needed to remake the game because it had some limitations, and I just started working in an Unreal job. And so it would have been a good project to get used to Unreal by remaking this previous Unity game, which is a 2D only game, now in 3D. But life is busy, and so we're 2 years later and we still haven't done it. But we're making progress, we're getting closer. Anyway, let's remove those. What was I thinking? Okay, yeah, so I was just having a little bit of a problem thinking about how we're going to look up the data. In my mind, we had all this data about the monsters already that we use for a dungeon, which is correct. It took ages to set this up as well. You set up difficulties and all of that jazz. I'm wondering whether we... Is this data going to be sufficient for like a battle or not? What are you working on, Kubo? Well, there's taking your time and then there's just not getting it done. If I was working every week on it for the last 2 years, and then I agree, it's fine, it just takes time. But yeah, this is a case of just not making time for it. So I don't think I can reliably do this. I mean, I could look through the arrays for now and just say, is it a Skellycaster? Then we can take... We can take the data from here. Like, how do we actually want this to... Well, the way I've done it before, actually, is that we don't actually need to know stats about them. They were all kind of the same. Yeah, maybe we should not overcomplicate it. How it worked in a quest before is the type of monster it was didn't really add to the difficulty. It was a purely flat rate of whether you win in combat against them. And that chance was slightly favoured towards the adventurers. I think it was like 51% to 49% sort of thing. So what we actually need is not the data, but we need to be able to set them up, spawn them, and we'll do that using our monster sprites. And this should be... That's a bloody... It's an array of structs. Why did I do it like this instead of making it a map? I could have done this a map. I really should do this as a map. Instead it monster and sprite. Why did I not just make it a map of them instead? Because that will make it a lot quicker for us to access it, right? Normally you can't do containers in a container, so if you had a map where your key was one thing and then your value was a container like an array, you can't see that with the in editor. So that's why you would do something like this typically. But if we're just holding a sprite, we shouldn't need to do that. So this should just be an E monster type, and then we want a sprite. What's the type in here? Yeah, one of these. I mean, like that. Let's just try this a second. Save everything. I'll tell you what, because we've changed a lot, I don't want to risk it crashing and something going wrong. So let's just get this back up again. Unreal. I have some bad experiences with it losing stuff if it on a crash, so I'd rather take it slow. Probably doesn't know what a U paper sprite is. What's it complaining about? I gave it the same name. Let's just call it monster sprite map. That'll do. Okay, go. Studying computer science makes your head hurt. Ah, yes, that was a long time ago for me. Crikey, like 12 years ago? More? 13, 14 years ago. I did nothing to do with game dev though up until a few years ago. As much as I've always liked games. I say a few years ago. Crikey, it's been 5 years soon. 2 months and it'll be like 5 years, I think. Okay. So let's go back into monster sprites. We should now have a map. Yeah, I don't know why. Why didn't I do it like this? I really think I need to just spend the time doing this. It's a little annoying because you can't have two of the same type, so I can't just add a bunch at once. So I've got to go through. We got Naked Skelly, Skelly Pirate, Skelly Warrior, Skelly Caster. Yeah, it's a bit fiddly, but this looks maybe nicer that they're together, but on to the Orcs next. Orcs, Orc Wizard, Orc. Now we're on to Evil Barbarian, Evil Pirate, Evil Wizard, and Evil Mage. What's the difference between Evil Wizard and Mage, you ask? Good question. One wears a different coloured. One's the Custard Wizard. That's the answer. If you don't know the Custard Wizard, you should consider yourself lucky. Cyclops, Werewolf, Cyclops. Did I miss Dracula? No, vampire, there he is. Got the vampire there. Vampire changes to Frankenstein and zombies. Sorry, my focus. Zombie male. Zombie female. Executioner. Witch Doctor. Plague Doctor. And we got Samurai. Oh, look at this, I got Death, I got Chippy, Hangry, Wasic Witch, Zorbflang, and Clown as well. I don't think I set these up, did I, up here? Yeah, I stopped at Death. Because we haven't got the sprites of those in yet. Okay, Samurai, so we just need one more. 22, yeah, that matches up. Zorbflang, no, we stop at Death. Okay, great. So now we just need to take the pictures from each one. I could probably just search through. If I type in monster when... I think that does them in order anyway. So we'll do that. There's that one. Skellycaster. Orc Warrior. Orc Wizard. Barbarian Friend. Evil Barbarian Friend. Evil Pirate. Evil Wizard. There you are, Custard Wizard. Look at him. Oh, so evil. Who wears that coloured robe? Who isn't evil? Yeah, exactly. That is not the one I wanted. Mummy. Werewolf. Cyclops. Dracula. Sorry, vampire. Zombo. No, Franco. That is Franco. Good. And then Zombo afterwards. Can't believe I called him a Zombo because he was green. Need to arrest me. Lady Zombie. Executioner. Witch Doctor. Here he is. Sorry, this is not fun, but it needs, I decided it needed to be done. Samurai. If I'd named him, it would have helped, but I didn't. Okay, and Death. Okay, so now that we've got all of those, we should be able to get rid of this top one. And now we have much faster access because we're using a map instead of an array. Okay, good. I've been programming for a little bit, but I thought I wanted a fuller understanding of computer science. It sounded nice, but the maths are really killing me right now. I'd just rather make games. Yeah, it's a good foundation for you anyway. And sometimes challenging yourself can be very valuable versus just working just towards your goal anyway. It can help you grow in different ways and learn some kind of soft skills that are transferable at least. And it gives you backup options if game dev doesn't work out. So, yeah. You got cybersecurity curriculum. Ooh. Yeah. Lots. Well, I'm not great at maths either, but I did computer science before it was a requirement to have like a where maths basically wasn't a pre-requirement for the course. And sure, a few years afterwards, they ended up making it like you had to do an extra course before to kind of prep yourself for it. It's not one of my like confident areas, but I managed to be fine in my line of work without a massive maths background at least. Fair enough. Well, good on you both. So let's see where monster sprites is used in the code, because now we can use a better ways of accessing it, right? So it is used in here. We load in the asset, that is fine, and then we go sprite sheet. Wait there. We get the settings, then we get the data asset, and we call it sprite sheet, and then we get monster sprites find by predicate. See, so instead of doing this now, what we do instead is we just say, okay, the selected sprite is going to be equal to monster sprites map, and then you just put in current what have we got in monster data? Yeah, monster data dot monster type. Done. Okay, that's easier. Where else was it used? We've gotten rid of that use of it as well. Monster sprites. We can still use that in there, that's fine. Right, okay, so now we can get rid of this. It's going to be a bit ugly getting rid of it in the middle of this, but let's do that. Save, save, close. Get out of here and get started again. Ooh, hold on. Adventure sprite map. Yeah, that had the wrong name anyway. I just copied it from the adventure. So I wonder if the adventures one is set up in that bad way as well. So we have an array of adventure and sprite. Oh, Dan, why did you do this? Wait. Okay, adventure and sprite is a bit different. We have an adventurer and then we have variants. Variant 1 and variant 2 for each one. So I think we need to keep it that way. Well, it could be a map. No, it could still be a map. And then we could just have outfit variant. This is a struct. Let's do a to-do. This could be a map of the adventure type, and then yeah, if you did it as an array, that is where it'd be a problem. So then we'd need an F like outfit types, something like that, and that might just have a list in there. That is something we can look at in future. Oh, you did say something earlier, man, but I need to read up in chat as well. Nathan Orquette. Wow. Blast from the past. Is our Australian best man. We still haven't met any other Australians, Nathan. That's the truth of it. No, it's good to see you, good sir. How you doing? What are you doing at the moment, actually? It'd be good to have an update. Kuro, you're saying you're doing a little web dev and app dev. You really do want to give... hang on, you really want to make games and a few other projects. So since I'm being paid to go to university, I think it comes down to concentration in game programming. Yeah. I think it's probably best to focus on your course. You'll have time to make games. Like, focus on the stuff that's hardest. Game dev isn't easy, but making games and like projects like that, it just needs time. Whereas like going to university to learn a specific course, you're probably best investing your time in being present there when you're being taught the stuff rather than having to then invest more time teaching yourself these topics. IMO. So, Dan, going to commit a bit of code at AHA offer class. I left a comment in it for you to look at later as I could not get it to work with a user pointer. It does not stop me building. Right, okay. AHA offer class. Is that in is that in your like the Java the server side code, you mean? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I will. Thank you, dude. I will have a look at that now for you. Let me just make sure I missed anything else. You're doing pretty good. How you doing? You seem to be a programmer extraordinaire now. I wouldn't call myself that, but I have been. Yeah, I've been working in the games industry now as a programmer for 3 years. Yeah, and been on some cool projects. I can only really talk about one of them, but yeah, I've been on 3 different projects in that time, and yeah, it's been good experiences, and happy at the studio where I'm at as well, and progressing well personally as well, which I'm happy about. You're still on the now. Add the quest and API call like we have for dungeon. So you're not. Yeah, I don't know how far I'm going to get on that today, man. But it's more likely going to be a tomorrow night thing, I imagine. So don't stress yourself, good sir. Yeah, I've worked on Sea of Thieves. That's the one I can talk about. So I worked on that for 2 years, which is like a huge game to be working on very early in my career. So that was awesome. I was very pleased to kind of have the opportunity. Indeed, mate. Indeed. So my studio co-developed with a lot of other studios. So I haven't worked on any of the like Zombie Army kind of franchise and things, and like Sniper Elite, those sort of games. But I know that like our studio does co-develop with those, for example. So there's a lot of like big franchises that we work with. So yes, Rare are one of those. Yeah, good. Glad to hear, Kuro. Thank you. Well, what are you doing, good sir? Are you still in contact with Anton? I know he went off to work in like Kingpin or whatever it's called. Mate, I'm still a baby programmer. It's just nobody sees me struggle. Just hide it. I think like I've grown a lot in some ways, but there's many ways when it comes to like programming that I've not massively grown as well. So it's an interesting thing. You kind of you grow experience in processes, I guess, and good ways to approach problems, maybe like ways to write code in a professional environment and a team, and keeping performance in mind and safety and handling crashes and debugging and investigating. Those sort of skills you develop a lot. Hey, I still remember being a bushwanker with you, Nathan. Brainoid and I mentioned bushwanking the other day. That's the spirit, Cookie. Me personally, yes. Long ago, so like 10, 15 years ago, I went to university. I did computer science and AI. So I did that as a undergraduate degree, which is a BSc, and then I didn't have any plans, and they were doing some scholarships for some master's degrees in AI. So I did that, and then I still didn't have any plans. So then I ended up getting a job as like a training officer in a software company, but it wasn't really coding or anything. It was me explaining to our clients how to use the software we'd made. Did that for a couple of years, and then life went up and down in different directions, and then I ended up going into teaching. And then finally, around 5 years ago, I was like, hey, let's try and use the kind of programming stuff that I spent time learning to actually. I always had it on my to-do list to try and make games, so that's when I started trying to learn. So yeah, 2017 I started, and we're now in 2022. Well, there's a bit of that. Yeah, I did have contacts as well, which helps, Nathan. So when I said I did a degree and I did a master's, one of my good friends, or my best kind of like course mate in uni, ended up going and working in this studio. And when I told him I'd got back into game dev, he was like, well, I'll keep, when we're hiring, or when you feel you're ready, if we're hiring, let us know, and we'll see if we can get you an interview at least. So, yeah, it didn't get me the job at least, but it allowed people to consider me with what would look like an inexperienced CV, if that makes sense. But do you know what, like the Unity background and like AHA like was one of the the standout things in my interview, was because if you remember, like I made the game and then it was like a monthly product where I do updates and patch notes, and I think they saw that as much as I had a first in my degree, which is like the kind of top tier what you can do. So it shows that I've got a decent head on my shoulders. But then I guess the self-driven and self-organization kind of things that came out of it probably made me look good. Do you remember the stream overlay game with the little dungeon at the bottom, Nath? That's AHA. Which is what we're trying to make a sequel of in Unreal at the moment. What was that? Right, let's get back on the horse, shall we? Is Brainoid still about? He'd be happy to see you. Hey, no, so it's a welcome distraction. What are we doing here? Ah, okay, we are trying to take them as the old type. They're no longer that, right? We're literally... We just need the sprite now, right? And the sprite was a paper... New paper sprite pointer. So... This becomes one of those. Selected sprite, and then... To be honest, we don't even need to check that the sprite is valid anymore. Fine. Oh yeah, that's because we're doing a find by predicate, right? Ah, what if it's not in there? We should maybe do a check of that. If yeah, let's do if the sprite sheets monster sprite map dot contains no capital letter. Why are you not giving me autocomplete again, you swine? Okay, so we can kind of do this instead, and then we can whack this in here. Put our selected sprite in there like that now, which is good. And then our else, we probably need to return as well. But our else will then become our, if it doesn't contain it. Unable to find sprite or monster type. In, what's it called? Monster sprites map. Let's do that. Okay. I mean, do I really need that actually? Because we've got this error down here. I think it was before if I hadn't set a sprite in. Yeah, I'm happy to kind of reduce that data there. Well, I don't stream that often anymore. That's one of the sad things, Nath, is my personal project progress isn't massive. So my stream schedule at the moment is just Monday evenings. So that's 7 PM UK time. I don't know what that is Aussie time. It's probably early morning. Aren't you plus like 11 hours or something like that? So either way, yeah, I do Monday evening, 7 PM UK time. And then randomly I'll do streams like this if I've got free time and motivation to do some work. And then other than that, I do game jams. So if you ever want to take part in any of my game jams, that'd be great. We've got the 4th one coming up this summer. But we've done 3 game jams. That we do a summer one over 9 days. Take as much time as you kind of fit around your life to kind of chuck something together. And the winter one is the same. It tends to be a kind of a longer jam, but I tend to do a charity kind of streaming session around that as well. So I'm trying to make the game whilst doing silly objectives and incentives to raise some money for charity. We raised like $3,000 for special effect last year, which was great. So really great. I shouldn't downplay that. It's a silly amount of money. So yeah, if you ever do want to be involved and hang out there, that's the kind of time I'm streaming these days. Okay. So the whole point of this was we wanted to make a new way for us to go ahead and get this thing set up, right? So we got set up pawn sprite, and yeah, let's have a look where that is called, because we've already got the work done for this. So this is on a monster pawn, and we'll be still calling one of those PAWN for anyone who's filthy. So let's have a look where we set up sprite. existingly. I think we just spawn a monster, but we need monster data. How do we make the monster data, I wonder? Prepare pawn is called. Okay, so prepare pawn is called. Let's have a look for this then. Of course, the work I do with Anton. Oh, you still work with Anton? I did ask. I didn't see if. Did you answer above? No, you didn't answer, you swine. Now you've mentioned it, though. I remember you into drones, weren't you? Are you still doing drone flying? That's all good. It's all good. Oh, and I don't know if you remember Elisha Griffin as well. I don't know if you would, if you're in the same era as Elisha. But anyway, we're married and she moved over here as well now as well. Oh, there she is. Little lizard. Yeah, we met via like a Ludum game jam. Like as friends for a long while actually, but yeah, it's nice. Don't think it was a virtual drone. That was a one-off thing. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Chorizo. Oh, is Chorizo actually about? It might need to refresh. This is like nighttime. Give it just a sec. It'll update soon. From game jam to live jam. Indeed. How beautiful. Right, prepare pawn is called from new monster. Okay, here. So we make a new monster here, right? Spawn monster act as we go through each one of these. It's not a spider, there's a little fire skink lizard. It's a little, why is it not working? That's the wrong camera. Let's just try and... Yeah, what's the date on there? The 19th of the 2nd. Oh no, that is... Is that this morning? Yeah, why is it black and white this morning now? Why is it black and white mode altogether, actually? Is that a night mode we've got it on the camera, on the thing, maybe? I'm not sure. Normally goes quicker. Sorry, I've got the time over here. That's how I'm looking at that. Okay, so maybe I'll just change the URL. And then it shouldn't work. And then I go back in and then I'll fix the URL. And then that should force it to get a new one. Oh no. Why is it going wrong? It is our fire skink. There we go. Okay. You can oh well, I saw it. Okay. Here we go. Although the chorizo's not out. There's chorizo, huh? We'll keep an eye while I do some work. Okay, so we get a location to spawn them. Oh, they're not under the log. Elisha's gone looking. Oh, I can see them wriggling. Yeah, you can see the panic wriggle. Chorizo, where are you? There they are. There they are, covered in dirt. Little cutie. Lol, thank you very much for the subscription. Oh, they just scurried away. Thanks for showing them, Elisha. They might come back out in a moment anyway. Lol, it's lovely to see you. How you doing? Thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. Continuing the subscription. Almost at a year. Very much appreciated. Okay, so we are looking at how monster spawns because we need to call setup pawn on it, which will allow it to find what skin it should be using based on its monster type. So we need to make monster data, get monster data, this thing. Where does it? Okay, so this is where it chooses what type of monster to do, right? But we want to make a monster data. What does monster data actually hold? This is the data we're having. Okay. I see. I guess the difficulty and the name. Oh, we need the name. Where does it get them from? Oh no, it gets them from that list. We're not going to know their name. I guess they don't have a name. They don't have to show their name in the world because they're just generic monsters, right? This is a bit butchery though. I don't like it. The 1st of July. Well, don't you put that pressure on me, good sir. How dare. I feel this should probably be renamed Dungeon Monster Data. How often do we use this? I'm gonna go get me a drink in just a sec as well. The pets are coming, don't you worry. By the time 2019 is done, there will be pets. Look, I started working in 2019. Everything got more challenging. Yeah, we use monster data quite a lot. If I rename monster data, will it remove? Oh crikey, I don't know. We can try saving before we do, I guess. Does this compile at the moment? We can do like we can use version control, right? We can fall back if I break something here. Okay, first off, we need to do a fetch. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so we're going to pull Mamba's changing, which was just adding a new type called user offer. Okay, and we can have a look at you said there was an issue with that as well. Okay, that's no problem. Okay, so let's pull that in first. That shouldn't have any conflict with what we got. And then we can get committing our change. What have we even done? I like writing detailed notes normally on this stuff, but so we've created the logic that controls selecting monsters for quests based on the F monster chance array that lives within the F quest monster quest theme structure. We also created new map for testing battles. Doesn't really do much of that at the moment. Removed an unused BP adventurer, since we now derive from the base version of it. Have dungeon battle variants. Moved some monster logic from base monster into its dungeon monster subclass. What else did we do? Yeah, that's about it at this point. Oh yeah, so we changed the F monster sprite or monster sprites data asset to be a map instead of an array. Okay, so let's go ahead, commit this.